I'm Caitlin, and welcome to the Lit Review. Today we are doing a tag, specifically the Hamilton tag. I saw Reading with Nori do this, and her video was super fun, and she's clearly a big Hamilton fan, so that just got me even more excited. So I will make sure to link Nori's channel and specifically her Hamilton tag video, and I'm going to follow in her footsteps and say from the jump, just if you are interested in doing this tag, please do so. I don't want to limit anybody by only tagging specific people. So if you are a Hamilton fan or just find this tag interesting, I tag you. I will also link the original creator and I will link their video down below. So this tag has 10 questions based on song titles from the musical Hamilton. Let's get into it. The first prompt is Room Where It Happens. Name a book you would put yourself in. I ended up deciding, because it's a wonderful mix of a lot of things that I care about in books, and that is the world of the All Souls trilogy, aka A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I would put myself into this world because there is magic, there are vampires, there are shifters, I think. There's time travel, which I love. Time travel is like one of my, I'm coming to realize this about myself. Time travel is like one of my biggest let's goes. So there's also, a little bit of romance involved. And I just find like the characters and the world and the time travel and the witchcraft like so compelling. I also have always deeply connected with Diana, the main character, because when I read this book for the first time, Diana is an academic and she's in an archive, and she discovers a text that has long been lost within the magical community. She's herself a witch but is repressing that part of her identity, but this book just calls to her and it sets off an absolute deadly and chaotic race to gain the text. And when she cares a lot about being careful with old books, like it matters very much to her because it's part of her identity as an academic, but also just her reverence for learning. And so when I read this for the first time, I was also working in an archive, and a very different kind of archive, but I was working in an archive for old films. And the reverence and care for that, it just really resonated with me, really felt connected and a kinship with this book. Prompt number 2 is the Schuyler Sisters. Name an underrated female character. So this one was actually kind of tricky. I had a lot of options for it, so picking just one was weird. But I don't hear a ton of people talk about this book series on BookTube anymore. But it is one that I really enjoyed and fits some of the tropes that I love, so I thought I would list this. And that is the His Fair Assassin series by Robin Lefevre's. And I really love all 3 of the main characters because each book is connected, but they focus on a different young female assassin. So I just really love this series. It's like medieval French assassin nuns. That's the pitch. So this specific book, Grave Mercy, is the first in the series and follows Ismay. There are also 2 other really amazing female characters within this series, and I believe Robin Lefevre, she recently came out with like a 4th book that I think is a continuation, so it's probably going to be much more than a trilogy over time, but I do think these characters are lovely and kind of underrated. Number 3, My Shot. A character that goes after what they want and doesn't let anything stop them. So again, I had a lot of potential options for this, but I shout out this book kind of as an aside a lot on this channel, but I actually wanted to boldly state this book series for something. So I think that character is Alana of Trebond from the Lioness Quartet. I will put a cover up here, but Alana of Trebond is a young woman who wants to be a knight in a time where women are at best going to be healers or mages, and she really doesn't like her magic that she has, but guess what? She has a twin brother who's supposed to go to be in training for a night, and he just wants to be a sorcerer. So they swap places, and you follow her adventures, and sometimes Tom's adventures, throughout the quartet, and they're really small books. But I really, really have always loved Alana's story as her as a character. I almost put her in for underrated female character, but I think the people who know about Alana of Trebon do not underrate her at all. And she really has all these hurdles and struggles within that series that she does not let any of them stop her. Number 4, Stay Alive. A character you wish was alive, and there's says warn for spoilers. So before I give you my spiel on who I would like to revive, I'm going to introduce you to this duck. This duck, I'm calling him Gerard. Gerard the devil duck. He is also our spoiler duck. So what I'm going to do is, while I am talking about spoilers throughout this video, I'm going to hold up the duck so that you can just kind of fast forward through the rest of the video if you would like to avoid the spoilers, but he is your devil duck, he is your spoiler warning duck. Heed him. So I will hold him up when I start talking spoilers, but a character that I wish was alive will come from House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. It's duck time. Okay, so the character that I would wish to be alive again is Lily, because I've never cried so freaking hard at a book. I just wept when she died, and her self-sacrifice. Oh my, I can feel the tears coming. Like, why, oh my god, now I'm holding a duck in a book and I can't wipe my face. Oh, this was a mistake. It's just one of the most intense self-sacrificial moments that I've experienced as a reader, and I cried my eyes out, and if I could bring her back, I would. Duck's gone. Oh no, we're gonna cry again. Okay, so number 5, the prompt for number 5 is burn, the most heartbreaking end to a relationship you have ever read. Again, warn for spoilers. So I will do the same thing. You will see the duck, and you will know not to quack around. So the most heartbreaking into a relationship, I'm not 100% sure about my choice for this, but it is the most heartbreaking end that I have read recently. And that comes from Dear Mrs. Bird by A.J. Pierce. So know that that is what I'm picking. The duck is back. So there is a moment, and I haven't mentioned this in any of my videos because I've kept them spoiler free, but you know, Gerard's here to play. So there is a set of supporting characters in this book they get engaged over the course of it. So the main character is Emmy, and she has a best friend who has been dating the same guy since they were like in high school, and Emmy and the guy who the fiance, like, they get into fights because he's risking his life too much to help during the Blitz, and they were all gonna go out to celebrate together, and he goes to go find Emmy because he wants to apologize, and a bomb hits the underground jazz club where they were at, and he dies going to find Emmy and like fix their friendship. The girl's name is Bunty, and so Bunty is Emmy's best friend, and she is severely injured by this, and so on top of being severely injured, she loses her fiance, and then she closes out her friendship with Emmy because she blames Emmy for his death, and it is just, I sobbed. It was heartbreaking because he was trying to fix it. He was trying to fix his friendship because he loved Emmy and he loved his fiance Bunty, and just like, okay. This video is very rude. It's made me get very teary. All right, number 6, you'll be back. Sassy, like basically name your sassiest villain. So I had to have a think about this because when I think of sassy villains, I tend to think of like film and television first, but what I ended up going for, and I'll put the cover up since I don't have a copy of the book with me here, is The Darkling from Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I think even though he's not always like stereotypically sassy. I think of him as being a very sassy villain because he is just like utterly convinced of his rightness and is very like dismissive of Alina and Mal and like makes jokes at their expense all the time. And like, he's like really low key sassy. But I think that's like honestly how I think of him. So we're going with that. Number 7, the Reynolds Pamphlet. Name a book with a twist you did not see coming. Warn for spoilers. Quack time. So I'm going to list The Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins as my spoiler, or thing I didn't, twist I didn't see coming. I think you all know what I'm going to talk about, but I think the duck needs to be here anyway, just in case some of you haven't read it. So this, like, basically the last third of Mockingjay, where we get to them like crawling through the tunnels. Finnick dies, and then that whole thing where they attack the children, and then they attack the EMTs. Awful. Duck down. Okay, so then 8 is Non-Stop, a series you marathoned. And if you've been watching video content on this channel lately, I have at least one video out about unfinished series, and I have another one filmed that probably won't come out in time to be linked, but it's on its way. So I have 2 videos about series that are unfinished. I'm not good at finishing things. I'm really not good at marathoning series. So there's really only one answer for this, and that is the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. Again, I will put covers up here. I bought all 4 of the Off-Campus series on Kindle and just mainlined those books one after the other last year. So I know that I am kind of an Elle Kennedy pusher when it comes to bringing that series up a lot, but I have no regrets. I have one trick on this pony, and I am very happy to do that trick as many times as necessary to get you to read those books if you like romance. So it is a very smutty new adult series that is about hockey players in college. Only is the smut fantastic, the emotions are fantastic, and I like that combination. I read all 4 of the Off-Campus books in quick succession, and they were all either 4 or 5-star reads for me. Like, they are just so good. And then I have been more slowly consuming the Briar U spin-off series, but yeah, no, those are great. Highly recommend. Number 9, Satisfied. What is your favorite book with multiple point of views? And this is actually really hard because I've mentioned a lot on this series that I really love a multiple point of view novel. So I have a lot of them. But what I actually think fits for that is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, because this is such a unique take on multiple points of view. You know, I love a good and well-executed multiple POV novel where like each chapter or maybe even sections of a chapter are in a different character's head. But this book, as most people probably know by now, is written in an oral history style. So it is very much written as though it were a transcript of an interview, because the conceit of this book is that the interviewer is going back and trying to figure out why Daisy Jones and the Six, this incredibly iconic and relevant band from like the 60s and 70s, only really had one album before they collapsed mid-tour. And so they are talking to all the bandmates, producers, like roadies, just general people who could maybe give insight into why this band collapsed. And while it sounds like, on first blush, that sounds like a terrible organizational principle for a novel, it's one of the coolest books I've ever read. I have read it in its print form. I have also listened to it via audiobook. I do like the audiobook better because it's a full cast, so you really get the feeling of that multiple perspective because it's different voices. It is still quite good in print, and it's one of my favorite books. I also cried at this. Don't be surprised when I tell you I cry at things, though. I am a crier. if I am at least halfway invested, I'm probably gonna cry. All right, and then the last question for this tag number 10 is who lives, who dies, who tells your story? And this is name a series you feel will be remembered throughout history. So I have very similar feelings. If you watch Reading with Nori's video, I have very similar feelings to Nori. And I still think that this answer is relevant. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why I'm mentioning this, because I think a series that is going to really have like the test of time and going to have high impact on our generation is undeniably Harry Potter and the entire series of this. Now, I have thought long and hard about how I would like to handle the existence of this book series on my channel moving forward, because this book series gave me so many gifts growing up. It is like one of my first big moments of fandom. I have long and loud identified as a proud Ravenclaw. And I've done several bits of content related to Harry Potter on this channel. And then everybody in the news is pretty highly aware of J.K. Rowling's sentiments of anti-trans. And, you know, at shorthand for that, you can call her a TERF. But so those are very upsetting. Despite giving us a book series that gave us a really lovely spirit of inclusivity, even though the book itself does not always get there fully, you know, like there are problems within this book series, but it gave our generation so many gifts and so many connection points. And you know what? Here's the thing. I think the fandom and the community around Harry Potter is bigger and better than its author. And so while I will not go out of my way to overly mention things like Harry Potter on this channel, here's what I'm going to do to make it sit right with me when I do bring up Harry Potter. And if I do like wear a t-shirt or, you know, do a video with themed content, I'm going to donate to a LGBTQIA+ charity. Specifically, I will try to donate to organizations or charities that support trans lives, because I, as a member of this fandom and community, want to show that we are better than its author, because I think we've been proving that for a really long time. And so anytime that the series gets mentioned from here on out on my channel, it will be coming with a donation on my end, and I will leave the link to whatever charity I decide to donate to in the comments. You are by no means obligated to do so. But I just want to make that my practice for any time it gets mentioned here on out. I'm not always a believer in being able to separate the artist from the art. Sometimes I think you have to connect them. And in this case, while I will no longer be buying licensed merchandise from anything related to J.K. Rowling, I still want to support fans. Because fan artists, fan creators, fan community members in this space are still so powerful and beautiful and creative. And so I value their work because they're doing something really, well, magical in spite of her. I also welcome you in the comments to tell me why, if you disagree, like if you think that I shouldn't be mentioning these, because I do want to do things that, keep this community that we're building together happy and healthy. So please let me know down in the comments below if you think the charity option is a good option or not. I will be doing it for this video regardless, because it will have already happened by the time you are able to make comments. But I do want to also be respectful of your wishes as our community grows. That is the end of the Hamilton book tag. That was a lot of fun to put all of these books together. Popped out up there. So again, if you are interested in doing this tag, I'm tagging you. This is your formal invitation. And please go ahead and check out Nori's channel. I love, love, love her content in general. And then I will also link the original creator down below. Again, their name is here. And thank you for spending the time with me. I hope you have a fantastic reading day. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more from me and this channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!